We're here to talk about the recent series of takeover-style robberies that have been taking place in the city of Oakland and in other parts of the Bay Area. Over the past weekend, there's been 4 robberies, and we're here to talk about what plans that we have for the future and what steps we've taken.
The fact that the city of Oakland has had to endure yet another spate of robberies is clearly unacceptable, and that an important aspect of this press conference is to communicate to the residents of Oakland that their safety is paramount, that's vital, it's important, it's job one. The residents of Oakland deserve better than to be victimized by acts of violence and robbery that tear at the very fabric of our community. And I'm working closely with the Oakland Police Department. We're in constant communication as we attempt to address these issues. We've increased the deployment of the police. As you may know, we now are at 789 police officers. Chief, we're at 789 police officers, and we are confident that by the end of the year we will be at a complement of 834. So we continue to increase our police department. We've continued to deploy our police department strategically in areas that have been identified. Number 2, as you know, we've called in the guardian angels, and I might just add editorially that wherever they've been, if you notice, the number of robberies have gone down considerably, because I think where they are present, that it has acted as an important deterrent to robberies. We have also, we're working very diligently to bring to specificity a relationship between the City of Oakland, Oakland Police Department, and private security firms to add to it. As you know, in previous press conference, we indicated those 3 elements would be worked on, and we are now developing those 3. Number 1, the more efficient and effective deployment of more police officers in strategic areas, the deployment of the guardian angels who are indeed homegrown and local people, and finally, as I said, a partnership with the business community and the Merchants Association with respect to private security firms. It's important to make the point here that we will not succumb to fear. That, as I've said on more than one occasion, in a civilized society, in a civilized community, people should be able to move throughout the day, going about their lives with a sense of peace and security. So we cannot allow and will not allow fear to overtake our community. In that regard, I wish to commend generally all of the community organizations that have stepped up in this moment of crisis in Oakland. And I very specifically would like to compliment and commend the people in the Rock Ridge area who really stepped up. They stepped up diligently, and they said very clearly and unequivocally, we will not succumb to fear. The next point I'd like to make is that I am confident that ultimately our strategy of prevention, intervention, effective deployment, and sustainability will ultimately resolve these problems. I would like to hope that we could do it overnight, but I think all of us know that that's not something that we can do overnight, but I'm confident that our strategy ultimately will prevail. In addition, I think it's important that we hold true to our desire to obtain fully staffed police force. As I've indicated earlier, we will be at 834, but the City Council joined with me, the police chief, and others in putting forward an initiative on the ballot that will call for an additional 105 police officers and 75 police technicians to increase the complement of police in our area. We will continue to work on deployment, and we'll continue to seek assistance from the state and federal government working collaboratively with us in Oakland as we attempt to wrestle these issues to the ground. I might just say parenthetically that I am sure that one of the chiefs will speak to this issue, but I am very, very pleased with the relationship that we've developed with the state of California, particularly with the California Highway Patrol, who have done and continue to do an extraordinary job in assisting us. My final points I want to make is that our public safety director will continue to work with the business community and merchants and other community organizations in continuing our dialogue and conversation about developing increasing our efforts at developing effective strategies in dealing with the issues of robberies and crime in our community. Oakland's community, in my opinion, has to stand together. We know that the Oakland Police Department, no matter how valiantly they try, no matter how diligently work, no matter how efficiently and effectively they are deployed, and they are doing an extraordinary job, it cannot be done alone. I believe that people in Oakland know who these folks are. They know who the people are who are committing robberies. And people in Oakland must become the eyes and the ears of this community. I believe very strongly in community policing, and I want to emphasize the community aspect of that. The community has to step up. The community needs to be the eyes and ears. The community needs to observe. The community needs to look at suspicious activity. The community needs to write down license plates. They need to be an integral part of this effort. We need them very, very desperately. Cannot do this alone. And as I said, I think people at the end of the day know who these folks are. And my point is that at some point, it's your son, it's your daughter, it's your niece, it's your nephew, it's your husband, it's your wife, it's your neighbor who becomes a victim. So I think it's important for people to come forward. It's also important, I think, in some aspects of our community, people have started walking in the evening together in groups. And in walking together in groups, they're also being very observant. And I think that we need to expand that throughout the city so that people come together in collective groups and start to walk in their communities and to be observers and let folks know that we will not succumb to fear. Finally, I want to let all of you know that we now have in our Crime Stoppers program an award of $50,000 for information that leads to arrest of these individuals.
I want to assure the public, your viewers, that we do take these crimes very, very seriously. We have been working on them round the clock for a number of weeks. I have a deputy chief, that Israel, who will later sort of describe the series of events that led up to this, what we've done about it, what successes we've had, and ask for a little explanation of where we're going from now. As you know, for the most part, these occur in commercial areas. We have increased staffing and uniform personnel along with some tactical officers who are in unmarked cars who are being very vigilant out there. We do a series of preventive aspects or preventive attempts to avoid having these cases occur or these crimes occur. Those are done for the most part also by uniformed personnel. We've tried to connect with the business owners to do some environmental design sorts of things that make it less likely that they will be victimized. The investigative section very much involved in analyzing each and every one of these cases. We have a couple of investigators here who will talk about what those analyses are. We do canvasses of neighborhoods, a whole series of post-crime investigative services. Those all lead to us eventually catching these criminals. Are more likely, and what we're asking for is the public's participation in assisting us in these efforts to catch the people who are doing this. The mayor mentioned that it's a $50,000 reward. We want to say that if you have any information, you can dial 777-3211 and be assured that your call will be taken very seriously and kept anonymous. Again, 777-3211. Let me close, make this as brief as possible by saying the Oakland Police Department is very involved in this. We're working with other agencies to try to determine what crimes are occurring that are similar with them. We're working with our federal and state partners. We're on this constantly, consistently. We mean to arrest every one of these people that we can identify and bring a charge in front of the DA with.